Hello, everybody out there, and welcome to another episode of the Crime Lab Report. I'm your host, Nadia.
And I'm Lavita.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. We have a very great show for you. Quick announcements. Don't forget to follow us over on Roku channel. Type in She's Successful Network, and that you can find all of our content there. Also, follow us on our YouTube page, and also don't forget to follow and share and subscribe to our Facebook channel. And as always, us ladies over here, we love stars. Please send us some stars so we can keep this content coming. Did I say it right, Lavita?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Also, we always are looking for contestants, right? On our international dating game. Make sure that you tune in on Friday nights, 8 p.m. Central Time. If you did not tune in last night, make sure you go back on our page, get caught up on our episodes, inbox us if you want to be a contestant. It's the hottest show on Facebook, okay? You're not going to find a hotter show. We're the original. You might see some people trying to replicate. Lavita pointed out something that was on a major network, right?
Yep.
It's very similar to what we're doing, but we are the original.
That's
international. Right. Love connection. Don't let anybody tell you different. And we still hot. We still hot. Now I'm saying the word hot, but where I'm at is very cold. It's very cold out here. And you know, I always talk about this because you know when we have that cold weather, we set ourselves up for flus. You know, there's the flu season. We got, is COVID still around?
Yeah, we got that too.
We still got COVID out there. Pneumonias, all this stuff. So what you need to do is you need to protect your immune system, right? So even if you're in a warmer climate, you still need to protect your immune system when you got all these things floating around out here. I just went to a store today and I was kind of digging and rummaging through stuff, and I said, oh my gosh, you know, let me sanitize my hands and stuff. But I feel a little bit of protection because I take Goli, right?
Right.
Goli supports your immune system. It has vitamin B9, B12. You could take, I believe, two gummies up to 3 times a day. Now, you might accidentally take some more because they taste so good. This flavor I have here is apple cider vinegar. I'm about to take, Davita, did you take your Goli today?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'm about to pop me 2 Golis right now when we go into a Goli break.
All right.
Kickstart your day with Goli. Use our code She's Successful and save 10% on your order. These gummies include vitamins B12 and B9 that support healthy immune function, heart health, and maintain healthy energy metabolism.
All right, and we are back. I just took my Golis. They are so good. Oh my goodness. I can't stop talking enough about Goli. I'm telling you, that is my thing right now. And I'm not a vitamin girl. These right here, though, they're very easy to take. Very easy to take. Today's guest, what can I say about him? His name is Jor-el Lamar. He was convicted at the age of 24. And when I tell you this is a self-rehabilitated man, he's here to talk to us today about his past and how he is now doing some very positive and inspiring things. He was able to find his talent, find his true self. And now he's just here to be an inspiration to others. So I really want you guys to share this video. And let's bring out Mr. Jor-el Lamar.
All right.
Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you
so much for joining us. I said a little bit about your history, but tell our audience a little bit about your experience. Let's just take them back through, you know, where you're from, where you grew up, and what led you to the positivity that you're doing right now today.
I'm from Columbus, Ohio, born and raised here. What led me to go down the street, the road that I went down, was I found out some information at a young age. You know how families have family secrets?
Oh,
well, the secrets came out.
Okay.
And it kind of it just did something to me. I didn't handle it properly. It wasn't handled properly. I was
Mhm.
brought into an adult situation
Mhm.
and end up getting exposed to some mental detrimental stuff. So feeling alone, suicidal,
Mhm.
didn't feel wanted, and all
Mhm.
that other stuff. That that theory that how they say hurt people hurt people.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was out to hurt people because I was hurt.
Mhm.
And I tried to stay on the right track, ended up having kids
Mhm.
and got engaged, but I never really did the street things. Like I just
Mhm.
was an average kid, average
Mhm.
teenager, and kept a
Mhm.
job at 16 and been taking care of myself since I was in the ninth grade.
Mhm.
But life would do two things. It didn't even make you or break you. And
That's right.
it broke me. It broke me, and I was, I couldn't put myself together because I'm confused, I'm lost, I'm angry, all negative energies. So a
Yes.
situation came up, and I had to rob some places to pay the rent. I
Mhm.
lost my job, and
Mhm.
that was the first time at the age of 23 that I 23, 22 that I picked up a gun and committed a crime.
Mhm.
So and I was to rob Paul to
Peter,
pay Peter.
something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
Rob Peter to
in a
pay
in a
Paul.
negative criminal way.
Mhm.
So I got out, did 18 months, got out, and I end up just lost. Like I was really lost. I didn't have nobody. I was homeless and just house hopping and just lost. And then I got with this guy and I became a stick up kid. And I was kicking in dope boys' houses and robbing them.
Mhm.
And I went to the wrong house and I got shot three,
Oh,
4 times
oh my
and got charged with attempted murder. And that's how my story began.
God. Okay. Um. Now, when you got into the house, was the attempted murder against one of the people that were in the home?
Yeah, they finessed the paperwork.
Mhm.
It's funny. I'm spiritual.
Yeah.
So, and I understand that everything happens for a reason. Ain't no
Yeah.
such thing as a coincidence in my
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
When before I went into the house, I'm in the back. I'm behind the driver who took me there,
Mhm.
and I'm getting things in order. My
Mhm.
mask on, checking the guns. So I had two guns. I had I had a 9mm and a Ruger, a 22 Ruger. So when I pull the clip out of the Ruger, there's 6 bullets. Put it back in there, and I cock it back, put one in the head, and lay it down. So when I do it with the 9, there's 4 bullets. So I put it back in, and I won't put it in the head, and it discharged. And it discharged for a reason because when I went into the house, the alarm went off. It was already a bad sign. I ignored all the signs to
Yeah.
retreat. The dog was barking. This is like 12 at night. The dog
Yeah.
is barking. It was a Rottweiler because I know Rottweilers bark.
Yeah.
And when I went in the house, the alarm went off.
Yeah.
So when I go to cut the light on, I hear a gunshot. So when I look down, because again, mind you, in the car, the gun just went off.
Yeah.
So I'm looking down. I got the 9 in my left hand. I'm looking down at it. And then as I'm looking up, I feel a gunshot hit me in my chin and it went in my neck.
Oh
So I
my God.
took cover. So the first gunshot, it grazed me on my lip. I have a keloid graze mark.
Mhm.
And that's from
Mhm.
me looking down at the gun. Had that gun did not go off in that car, my
Yeah.
face would have been straight and it would have hit me right here and hit me right here. But since I looked down at it, it went my chin blocked my neck. And my angle of my head looking down at that, because if it was in my right hand, I'm looking at the gun
Because
that
you
went,
were looking
the
at it
gun.
saying, where did the shooting come from?
Right. I'm thinking
Yeah.
it has a hair trigger because I
Right.
was told that
Right.
this is a brand new 9. So
Yeah.
in my mind, the seed is already planted that this is a hair trigger.
Yeah.
So had that not happened, but yeah, I would have been and probably wouldn't even been here because
Wouldn't have been
come
here.
to find out it was a police officer's house who police officer shot me.
So let me ask you a question. Did you guys kind of case the house out before, or you just did like an any
No,
meeny, miny, mo kind of?
no, it was an inside job. I was
Okay.
brought to the house and I identified the house and I told them to go around, do a circle, and I'll tell them which house it is to make sure I had the right house. It was the
Yeah.
right house. It's another deeper story in that
You guys just weren't aware of who was in the house, who owned the home.
no, I wasn't told that.
Okay. Okay.
It was basically kind of like a suicide dummy mission because I didn't have all that information.
So the person that sent you to that address, did they have some beef with that person, or they just wanted to see if you
Truth
was
be told,
gullible?
no. Again, I was a stick-up boy. So if a stick-up boy gets an assignment, the assignment it's together. It ain't no personal. It's business.
You don't ask questions. You just kind of just go in and do it.
Because you're putting a trust on that person that you would think that person has, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, I don't think they knew what it ended up being. So
What were you charged with? What were you charged with? What were you charged with?
I was charged with attempted murder, aggravated burglary, 2 felonious assaults, because I returned fire. After I got shot, I took cover.
Okay.
And I returned fire, and there was, come to find out, there was a little girl or another child in the household, and weapons under disability because of my previous case. So their plea deal, and it came up to like 49 years. I wanted to go to trial because I didn't try to kill nobody. And what they did was they finessed. When the finesse game came in, is the night that it happened, they filled the report out. And we, as criminals, or what do you call them? What do you call us? Not plaintiffs, but defendants. Yeah. We get all the paperwork and information that the prosecutor has, called a motion of discovery. So everything is in there. So when I go through that, I already had the original one saying what happened. I kicked in the door. They kept saying we, but it wasn't we. They was fishing. It was just me. I kicked in the door. They kept saying we kicked in the door and started. No, the person shot first, and then we returned fire and ran out. That's exactly how it went. But they didn't take that to the grand jury. What they took to the grand jury was a reversal. And it was 2 officers, a Detective Young, which was a male, and a Detective Young, which was a female. So the person who lived in that house was a female cop.
Okay.
So what they did was they changed around and said, I kicked in the door and started shooting, and she returned fire, and I got hit in the process.
Right.
Which is not what happened. So that's how they got me to stay. They stuck on the attempted murder, which I ended up pleading guilty to for 10 years. No, it was 3 years for the gun spec, automatic, because I used the gun in the commission of a crime, a felon. It was 7 for the attempted murder and 4 years for the time that I had on the shelf for my previous probation violation. Total of 14 years.
Total of 14 years.
But here's the thing. They could have had me plead guilty to aggravated burglary, which is what I did. And it carries the same amount of time as attempted murder. Why they put that attempted murder on me? Because of how it was set up. I can explain. If you're an employer or you are, you a renter, you're a landlord, and I come and put a paper, fill out for application or whatever the case may be, I can explain. I got a better chance explaining aggravated burglary compared to an attempted murder.
Right.
So it really hindered me from working with kids, working, getting employment, getting housing. All that has been shut down. I just got escorted. I had to leave a basketball game that I was helping coaching 12-year-olds, and because I can't qualify, I'm not going to qualify for the background check.
Was she shot? The officer?
No, she didn't get hit. That's the thing. She didn't get hit. I got hit right here.
Yeah.
I got grazed right here, and I got grazed on my shoulder. So I got hit 3 times. She didn't get hit. Because when she got done shooting, she went back into the room, and then I just started shooting and ran out.
Okay. I guess I don't understand how the justice system works.
You never, because it's not meant. That's a whole nother episode.
That's a whole nother episode right there.
Yes.
Okay.
It's all about design. I'm not even gonna get into it. Let's just
Okay. So you're 24 when this happens.
24.
Okay.
Yeah, I get my first number because I did 18 months in the workhouse for aggravated robbery. Robbery is in a store facility. Burglary is in a home environment.
I know you said
And
like when you were, during that time period, I know you said you had a lot going on, like family secrets and stuff like that, that really affected your mental state. But did you have like hopes of, okay, I want to become this or become that? Did that seem like something that was far fetched for you at that time?
I was deep. I was deep in the depression hole, in confusion,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't ponder none of that. None of it didn't matter. I didn't want to be here. I had a whole bunch of anger and confusion. Felt alone and didn't
Mm-hmm.
have nobody. So I didn't. I came to a point where I didn't care about my life, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't care about others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you
I
feel
didn't
like
know.
somebody like in your life at that point had kind of reached out and got you like mental health or like mental health? They say a lot of people of color, we kind of reluctant to kind of get help from like, psychiatrists or people to help deal with those things we go through. Do you feel like if that was an outlet for you that would have helped at that time
That
or?
definitely would have helped because everything is mental. Everything is mental. Everything starts
Yeah.
up here. If it ain't right up here, then nothing else is going to be right. And the spirit is going to be unsettled because it's not listening. How I look at it is your spirit talks to your brain, and your
Yeah.
brain tells your body what to do. So
Yeah.
if my spirit ain't right, then the messages that my brain is getting telling me to go rob and shoot and hurt people and do all that other stuff. I'm not, I would need, that's what they're for, professional. And I'm a big advocate of mental health and getting
Mhm.
help and all that because a lot of our people don't believe in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it helps. A
Yeah.
doctor goes to school to help you. If you're sick, what do? You go to the hospital, you go to people who are trained to deal with these situations. So that's what, that would have been a game changer if I was going through some counseling because I'm thinking this whole family is mine. My
Yeah.
mom don't have a mother, a father. She got a couple sisters, but she don't have that big family.
Yeah.
And there's no males in the family. So he had all that I
Yeah.
didn't get from my mother's side. And when it came to me and I was brought in the way it was brought to my attention through two adult beeps, you want to bring an innocent child in that messed me up. And yeah, I needed counseling. That would have changed the game because I had to do my own counseling.
Yeah.
I had to do my own counseling to pull my own self out of what I was sinking into.
Yeah, and I think that's true with a lot of our families, especially in the African American community. We have a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, and it's a generational thing. It just keeps going on and on and on because we don't fix the root of the problems that are affecting our families. So I can. That's why when people say, "Oh, how can this person end up in jail?" Because it's systemic. It's something that goes
It's
back.
a
It's
it's a
general.
big you can never understand it. It's a bigger, way bigger picture that they can't even explain it to you because
Yeah,
more likely they don't know.
they don't know. Yeah,
But I took the time to put the pieces together and make it make sense. Like
yeah,
when I realized when you're confused,
yeah,
when a human is confused, they end up getting frustrated because they
yeah,
can't figure out what's going on. And
yeah,
then frustration leads to being upset. And then
yeah,
upset leads to being mad. Then mad leads to being angry. And a lot of our people are confused and they bypass all that and they're staying angry because they
yeah.
can't get out of, and the only way you can get out of confusion is by having some type of understanding.
That's right.
That's the only way. If you can't get the understanding, you're gonna be stuck in that confusion, and it's gonna be a ball rolling down a hill of snow. And it's gonna, and by the time it hits the bottom and build momentum, it's unstoppable. It's
Mm-hmm,
rage. So
mm-hmm.
I had to break that down and figure out how I can prevent myself from getting to those past those stages. And that's just getting understanding. Whether it might not, you might not understand, others might not understand it, but that's okay because we don't all operate off the same frequency.
Mm-hmm,
But it's about what makes you feel good and help you move on from getting frustrated.
mm-hmm. Absolutely. So tell us about, okay, so now, okay, you're convicted. Judge says, okay, you're sentenced, and now you're in prison, right? So what was that process like, and how long did it take you to get to the point where you started rehabilitating yourself?
It took me halftime.
Mm-hmm,
Halftime. I
mm-hmm.
was like, I always say, I use sports as an analogy, how New England and Atlanta played in the Super Bowl, and Atlanta is up like 27-3 at halftime, and New England came back and won, came back and made history, Super Bowl history, and won the game, the biggest comeback ever in history. So my
Mm-hmm.
life was kind of like that. At the half point time, that first 7 years, I was just in my way. Time was doing me. It was just whooping me constantly in a hole, doing 8 months in a hole, 14, always in trouble or disobeying a direct order, or whatever. I had a problem with authority, and time was doing me. But then when I started realizing that what happened was I ended up getting around some people who cared about me, who showed interest in me. And I think that's the problem with a lot of our young people and humans anyway, and just in general, that they don't have nobody to go to, nobody to talk to them. And normally when a child or a young adult gets in trouble, it's always pointing a finger and yelling negative energy and going off and whatnot. And no one's asking, why you do that? What made you do that? What's going on in talking and whatnot? It's always and physical violence and not all negative, instead of just sitting down, asking and making me think for the first time in my life, why did I do that? And once I saw that a person cared about me, because mind you, since I found out from 12 to 20 something years old, over a decade, I felt like nobody cared about me. So once I had someone showing that they cared about me, because I had OGs that saw potential in me and took me under their wing and held me accountable. Like no one ever held me accountable. They always just pointed the finger. So that kind of like started changing the game. And I got my GED because I was in the worst prison. I kept getting kicked out of prisons. Got kicked out of one prison, went to the worst prison, made it out. And while I was in there, I started being observant. Like, what am I doing wrong? I need to do something with my life. And I never gave my mom a reason to say I'm proud of me. So I got my GED. She said, I'm proud of you. She was so proud of me because, like I said, I never gave her a reason. A person got to give you a reason to be proud, and a person got to give you a reason to be disappointed. So I gave her so many reasons to be disappointed, but I didn't give her no reason to be proud. So once I saw that joy and whatnot, I wanted to give her more. So that planted a seed in me, and my soil was right, and it grew, and I wanted to do more. So after that, I started working on myself, like stop fighting. What you gonna do? Stop fighting. Take classes. Took a class called critical thinking, because again, it all starts in the mind. Critical thinking, which taught me E over I. That's what most of us humans use. Emotions over intelligence, because we use two types of intelligence. Two types of ways we think. We think logically, intelligently, and we think emotionally. Right? So most times we thinking emotionally until our intelligence kick in. So we have to use I over E, because my emotions were my biggest enemies, and I had to learn how to control that. So change don't come till you tired, and all this stuff start clicking, and I start figuring it out and seeing things differently and wanting better, instead of wanting to hurt people, and I got tired of it, and I wanted to. It's levels to this game, and I wanted to take it to the next level. Instead of staying on the same level, I had to take it to the next level. So I started doing some self-evaluation, some what they call it, soul searching, some shadow work, and taking time while I'm in the hole and in isolation to work on myself and ask myself questions. How do I get here? What is my purpose? And things of that nature. So at the halftime part of it,
yourself doing that for yourself. That's not like a program they took you through. This is all you wanting to do this for you, correct? Okay.
No, I took what I can work with. A little bit here and not everything. To see the rehabilitation part, why I say self-rehabilitation, because the real prison rehabilitation isn't designed for that. Prison is really designed for you to come back. So why they want to help you get your stuff together, and when they can not help you or act like we're helping you, so we can get these profits and these grants and things of that nature, because we can't do it without the funding and whatnot, and states and all that stuff. So they're just doing it to be doing it, but they're really wanting you to come back, because one inmate is like 35 to 40,000 a year. Multiply that by 14.
Ooh.
Yeah. So let's do the math. What do they really want? So I had to take what they had to give and make it into my own. Like, this is good for me. Do wrong. What is that? They had a saying: if you know better, you do better. Yeah. Little things like that I would take. If my spirit felt it, I over E, everything has for a reason, all that, I would just take it. And also, the best teachers I've learned are outsiders, other human beings. Just by watching them, you'll see what not to do. Like my stepfather, rest his soul, I have no ill feelings against him. He would always come and, he had the typical way of men doing things, where the woman, my mom, was working a 9 to 5, being a wife, being a mother, taking care of the household. You know how it goes in the households.
Yeah.
Why the husbands would just give them a check and they'll take, sit on the couch and not help with nothing. So I learned that that's not how I want to do my woman. I'm going to help her. I'm going to do dishes. When she cook, I'm going to cook. When she do laundry, if she washes, I'm going to fold. And we're going to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I learned a lot. And people in prison, I learned what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
You can learn a lot from a dummy, as that commercial said back in the day.
That's right. So you did that. Did you learn? Okay. So did you learn your skill while you were in prison?
Actually, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
It's in my DNA. Cutting hair. My grandfather, his 2 sons, his 8 daughters know how to do hair. So all my aunts did hair. I do hair. My cousin in Cincinnati. I can name about 15 people in my family that has the Sattler blood that do hair. Women and men. So I started in 1990. I didn't like how my stepfather was cutting my hair because he didn't know how. I wanted waves. I had the ability to have waves all around my head, which I call like a beehive, where it's just waves out. I had that type of hair, and he didn't. So I learned how to cut it. And next thing I know, I started cutting my hair and cutting my brother's hair, but I never really took it serious. And then when I went to jail in prison, I didn't pick up the clippers till like 2009. About 2009, I went to barber school.
Okay. I
just wanted to ask some real quick. Have you thought about the self rehabilitation program that you put yourself through, about writing it into a book so that you can maybe teach that to other inmates?
That's my goal. Because my motto is and I love having these podcasts because it allows me to tell where I came from and what I did to get to where I'm at now, which is there's 2 sides to a spectrum. I was on the negative side of the spectrum of life. Now I'm on the positive side of the spectrum. And I want to get back into the institutions, because writing a book would be cool, but I want to get into the institutions and talk to them face to face. But the way the system is designed, they only help us because they have to. Government funding, they have to. They just can't house us in a facility and not say that we gave a chance. We give them all the opportunities. Like back in the day, you can have multiple degrees because you can go to college. Now they got it to where you got to have a certain amount of time left. You got to have a certain amount of time. So if I got 5 years in, I got to wait till I got a year left to get to qualify for these. Yeah. So they really don't want.
Okay.
They really don't want someone like me who was going to change and tell, I would love that.
So you have to have a year left before you can get into, just say if it's a 2-year or 3-year program. But how does that work? So
you're not qualified. You're not qualified. You have to they have it set up to where, like I did 13 years and 10 months. And before I could become a barber, I had to have like 3 years left.
Okay.
So if I wanted to be, it's just
the system needs
the system
help.
don't the system the system is designed to do what it's doing, and that's revolving door. That's their secret motive, secret agenda is to have the revolving door.
Yeah.
And what state was you incarcerated in?
Ohio. I was I started at Chillicothe, Ross Chillicothe prison. No matter of fact, it was Ross prison, but it's in Chillicothe. Got kicked out of there, went to Lebanon, and then made it out of there. No, I went to Lucasville. Then I went to Lebanon, then London, and then Pickaway. So I went to 5 different places.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I had to break my bed up. I couldn't stay in one place.
Yeah. So let's talk about, once you're out, let's talk about life as it is now.
I've been out 10 years. November was my 10th year. My first 3 years, I was just in the 4 years, I was in a kid and candy store, just free. Didn't see what I was, just free. And then, I ended up getting my daughter in 2016. And she was like, her birthday's in February. I got her in November. So she was pushing 3. and I had just left a relationship that I just couldn't stay in it because I felt like I was using. I was on my own, homeless, just trying to find my way, and I get this little girl, and now it's not about me; it's about her. So I was always a father before I started getting locked up to two kids. I had a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. Then before I got locked up, I was in a life. Then they became 6 and 4. When I come home, they're 20 and 18. So I kind of like focused on her, and she sped the process up. And once I realized what it was with me, that I have something that I can give, and I'm getting put in these positions to talk to people who need to hear what I've said. The first time I did that, it was this white kid. He came to the barbershop, and you know how you can just feel people's energy when they're down, their body language ain't right. So I engage in conversation because when I deal with white people, I want them to know that I'm friendly. We're all not like this. A lot of them have a perception of us.
Right.
So I want to make sure that they don't put me in that category. So I treat them extra. And we start talking, and come to find out we went to the same high school, but he dropped out. Make a long story short, he came back I talked him into it, going back. He came back months later, like a year later, and with his certificate, it said, "Thank you." I went back and I got my diploma. Yeah. So when I saw that I had that power of influence, it took off. Like if I can do this to this white kid who don't even know me and convince him how important it is to go back to school, I have a voice.
Yeah.
So being a barber, it allowed me to have kids, and that's where I'm at my best at with kids, because kids and young people. I couldn't relate. I got out at 38. I can relate with people my age because they were already. I broke it down and tried to make it sense to me. So because I couldn't continue being confused on why I can't relate with them, and I'm relating more with younger people because all my kids, grown kids, is 20. I'm kicking with grown kids that young adult kids. I just gravitate to them, and it's like they gravitate to me because I'm giving them what they don't have, or what they never had, and that's an elder who knows his role. And I'm telling them things, and I'm showing them teaching them from my experience and things of that nature. And I'm like, why am I drawn to these young people and not people my age? Because I'm just not. They're more advanced. They've been out here. I missed a decade and a half. So it's like I'm starting over. I'm 20. I'm 38, but I'm still 24 mentally because that's when I got locked up at. It is what it is. So me and them was in the same boat. Me and the young kids we're all learning how this world works. So me being with them and me knowing that I have a voice and me seeing how the situation, how there's division between old and young, there's a huge gap, and they're beefing, and there's more the older beefing at, it's always been like that. We got chastised from our elders, and that's what our people do. That's what grown people do. They chastise the kids, and it keeps going. It's a domino effect. So, me sympathizing and understanding both sides of the fence, I related to them more than that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing that you're now able to give back. You also have a podcast.
I had a podcast. I've got, I just sent my daughter back with her mother. And I never got a chance to get me together and focus on me.
Yeah.
So I sent my daughter back at the beginning of the school year. It didn't work out. And now, as parents, we sometimes got to put ourselves to the side and make sure our kids is all right. So I'm in that process. When I'm with my daughter, I want everything to be smooth so I can focus on other things. And until then, everything is shut down.
Okay.
Everything is shut down. So what I've been doing is
back up and running and
it's definitely going to eventually happen.
Okay. Good. So why I have you on here, I kind of want to touch on the situation with Tyree Nichols just to get your opinion on it. Because here in this situation, we have a young man being brutally attacked by 5 Black police officers who are supposedly educated. I don't know much of these police officers' backgrounds. But the extent that they beat this young man, what is your opinion on that? And then my other question is, do you feel like when Black police officers when they become police officers, are they now considered blue? Does that come before color? And how do they kind of view young Black men that are out here in the streets? Because we went through the whole thing with George Floyd, with, Black Lives Matter, and that was the white police officers. But here we see something that's even more brutal coming from, our own people. So what is like your opinion on that?
Well, I'm gonna touch on that afterwards. I like the second question, which was,
okay.
Is it skin color or is it blue? Which is which?
Yeah.
It's blue. It's blue, because if it was skin color, there'd be more of our people stepping up and demanding change.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the case. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Ain't nothing new. This is nothing new. Only thing that's new is the digital, where everybody can see it. And it really just affirms how outsiders, meaning other races, view us. They already see that we don't care about we don't care. So it's like a bully. If a bully is bullying this little kid, and the little kid is just letting it happen, why should you got people that look at like, why should I help him when he ain't even standing up for himself?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the mentality that everybody has. And now that it's something like this, and from my understanding, they're getting I'm like you, very new to this situation. I haven't dug in deep into it, but from my understanding, they're all being charged with murder.
Yes.
Now, if that was white, we already know what the deal is. It ain't gonna be that simple.
Yeah.
Because, as others say, white privilege. I really don't believe in white privilege.
Yeah.
I think that's just white privilege to me is white people looking out for themselves, and that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You don't hear about Asian privileges, and you don't hear about Latino privileges, but we're designed to look out for ourselves. But we find it offensive because we expect them to look out for us. When it sounds stupid because they don't care about us. Because if they did, like they did the Asians, you remember how they passed that Asian bill real quick?
Yeah.
Real quick. Why?
Yeah.
Because Asians have backing. And the whole continent, Asians here have a whole continent that is looking for a reason to come. They don't like United States, which, it is what it is. But don't you think they made a call? The difference with us, no one's making calls for us. No one is standing up for us.
Right.
So that's why they can get the stuff that they're getting off. Right. And yes, you remember, what was it? Boys in the Hood, where the cop slammed him on a car and
he said he hate black. He hate black.
Yeah. You have people out there like that who hate blacks.
Yeah.
They hate their own people.
Yeah.
So, like I say in Spider-Man, the movie Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah. You know what I noticed, speaking on this stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all had it in y'all state, but back in the day, they used to have cop cars, and cop cars had protect and serve on the cars.
Yeah.
They don't have that no more here in Columbus. Okay, you will not see a patrol car that says that. Mm-hmm. Bottom line is they don't care. I realize that. My opinion is it is what it is. It ain't gonna change. This is nothing new. Police white people didn't have to police themselves, right? I mean, they really didn't.
Right.
They had one cop and a couple guys, one sheriff and a couple guys in the whole town. Yeah. And they didn't have to do nothing unless some troublemakers came. But police were designed to keep our people in check. Mm-hmm. And that's what they're doing by any means.
Yeah.
Keeping them, it is what it is. It ain't gonna change. Yeah. The whole world protested in 2020. It didn't change nothing because 4 months later, six months later, someone in Columbus got killed. He got shot in the back, and he said that he was driving from Subway, had his bag, he was coming from the dentist. This was 2020, December 2020. Coming back from the dentist, he drove past a cop car pulled up. By the time he got to his door to unlock, the cop killed him. Mm-hmm. Cop said he showed him a gun and kept it pushing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So cops is getting fired or getting off with paid relief, and you can't work in this district, but then you go to another district and you can get a job. Yeah. So the blue is a fraternity. That's what I come to learn. Yeah. The blue is a fraternity. Yeah. There are no such thing as good cops. And what makes a good cop is that cop that's going to stand up for what's right. If his partner or he sees some foul, malicious work being done, if he don't stand up, he's a bad cop. Yeah. And that's by design of the shield.
Yeah, yeah. Lavita, what's your opinion on that, on the situation with Tyree Nichols?
First of all, I think it's a shame. And
Mhm.
secondly, I think that people, I think cops and stuff, they become uh, not complacent, but they become to the point where they dehumanize Black people.
Mhm.
And so it's not, when they first approach them, I think they just be like, well, this is just another thug out here. He don't
Yeah.
have nobody that cares for him. He whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is going on. It's a lot of dehumanization going on. And until we come together as a people and
Mhm.
start respecting one another, it's never going to change because it starts with us.
Mhm.
We have to learn to love our fellow uh, person or race. We have to learn to stick together, and we don't do that. Other races, they stick together.
Yeah.
They um, they
They
look
play their
out
role.
for them.
They play their
We
role.
don't do it. We the only race that don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I could do a whole scenario on that on I'm telling you, it's really something that we really need to bring you back on, Jor-el, for a real like in-depth discussion and have a panel on, because I think we have some real issues going on in our race. And even like you said, with the mental health aspect, and it's a lot of work to be done. And we're so happy, so happy to have people like you out here willing to really do the work. You're here and you're really willing to do the work. And I see you really impacting a lot of those kids that's sitting in your chair. You're gonna stop them from ending up in prison, or you're gonna stop a lot of. You're gonna break the cycle. You're gonna
You're
you're
do
gonna
great
definitely break
things.
the cycle. And so I think we really, really need to address some of these issues, that are going on. And
Yeah.
I just say my heart goes out for his family, and especially for his mother, who had to endure that. And I couldn't hardly watch the video, but I could hear him screaming out, "Mama, Mama." Same thing George Floyd did. He's how many yards away from his home, and it's just very heartbreaking. And that was the question I had on my mind today, and I'm glad you guys kind of gave me clarity, because I'm like, is it blue? Like, do they not see this as a young Black man, like how
They
I
don't care. They don't care.
relate?
With great power come great responsibility, and if you're not being responsible with the power that you have, you're going to be irresponsible. And that was clearly irresponsible and unnecessary, like all the other ones are.
Yeah.
And ain't nothing happening. They need, one thing I realized in prison, excuse me, is that they're good at making examples out of one person for all the rest to get out of line. They'll pick an innocent person and will make an example, and everybody else will get in line. That's all. If they want to stop this, they can stop it. So by continue going and going and going, like, this is nothing new. They've been doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only thing that's new is the cameras.
It's televised. That's right.
It's televised.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we've been, the rule was, if you take off from the cop, you better not get caught.
That's right.
Because they're going to beat you, and they might kill you.
Yeah, and back in the day, you come up missing. People wouldn't know what happened.
There's no therapy. You giving these badges and this power to these individuals who you don't really know them. They they should have to go through a series of psychological evaluations, trick questions to trip them up, to find out, because these people are smart enough. They have these tests where you take it and they can determine off your results where you're at mentally. And if they do that, a lot of this will be problem, but they don't want to do that. That's a solution. Make an example out of a person is a solution. If you're doing wrong, you don't get paid. Or I can do wrong. Now it's implanted in their minds that I can mess up and do some dumb stuff, but I'm still ain't not gonna happen. I'm gonna get paid leave and all this other stuff, and then eventually,
Yeah.
So it's a fraternity, and one thing about any fraternity, they look out for themselves, their own.
Right.
Unless they ain't got nothing to do with you, and unless you're a problem. If you're a real problem, they're gonna get rid of you, and they might kill you. But this is planet Earth, and it goes down like that on planet Earth when it comes to politics.
Yeah.
So so if they want to stop it, they can stop it. It ain't nothing we can do.
Yeah.
Slavery did not. How did slavery stop? How did Jim Crow
Yeah.
stop? How did segregation stop? How did all that stuff stop? All that
Yeah.
unnecessary BS stop.
Yeah.
White people had to do it. We marched and we did all that, but it don't matter. We could sing
Yeah.
Kumbaya till the cows come home. It
Yeah.
don't matter until white people decide to do what's right. And
Yeah.
that's one thing about white people in power, because those are the ones that this is a white man's world. And
Yeah.
we just squirrels trying to stay out their way. We ain't even trying to get in there. We trying to stay out their way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if they wanted to stop it, they can stop it. They
Yeah.
just don't.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, you see the effect of 5 Black police officers who probably grew up like a lot of us. We don't care about ourselves. You know, and the whole time George Floyd was going on, Chicago was still murders, young Black men killing Black men
They
out.
never stopped.
It never stops. And you come from a situation, or you come from a community that has no love for, we don't have love for each other.
That's
And then
what
you
it
give them
is.
badges. And then you give them badges. It's like,
And speaking of Chi-Town, right?
yeah.
It's been said that cops have been setting up fights, back beasts,
Oh,
putting on masks, black masks,
Yeah.
disguising themselves as black folks,
yeah.
and doing crimes and stuff, and killing and shooting people.
I wouldn't put it past.
Yeah, I mean
I wouldn't put it past, because it's so
It-
many
it ain't-
students.
it ain't
They
all them
snipers
boys.
are on the highways, so it's like
Right.
nobody caught. So we don't know who's doing what out
Exactly,
here.
exactly. You could easily start a territorial beef by killing somebody and spray painting the opposites,
Yeah.
what they call them, the ops
Yeah.
name on something.
Yeah.
Then it's gonna be a
Yeah.
beef.
Yeah.
It takes
Yeah.
one person to start a whole beef. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Like
telling
you
you,
said,
it's deep. It's deep.
only
Yeah.
thing we can do is focus on us and our
Yeah.
because it starts
That's right.
at home. How can you love anybody if you don't love yourself?
That's right. That's right.
So how can you help somebody out there in the world
And you don't love
if your household ain't right?
That's
That's
right.
right.
It starts in the home.
It starts at home.
Oh,
And it starts within you.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's our responsibility to want to have change. And
Yeah.
the key is these young kids. Kids
Yeah.
are clay. You gotta mold them correctly, and they're not being molded correctly. Like our generation, we were molded the same way that our parents were molded, and
That's
so
right.
forth and so on. It's like a domino effect. The domino got pulled out. So now it's the new thing. They starting up a new trail of dominoes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we got to fix internal first, because I think that is what we're seeing is the result of not fixing internal. They can get educated, they go out and get badges, but it's still, to the extent they beat him, there was no love. There was
No love. No love.
no saying this is a young Black man here. None of that went through their mind. So, that's a whole nother conversation, Jor-el. We'd love to bring you back on so we can
Please
have
do.
in-depth conversations about the community, and that's what our platform is.
Racism.
Yeah,
It's racism within racism.
Yeah, it's racism in our own race.
Racism within racism.
Yeah,
Exactly.
We got to recognize that's what it is.
yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. So we
But
definitely
you can be racist towards your own kind.
That's right.
You definitely could be racist to your own kind. There's a lot of racist human beings who can't stand their own kind. And
That's
it ain't just us, it's just, it is what it is.
That's
There's over 8 billion people on this planet, so you bound to have a couple 100,000 like that.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, we want to thank you so much for coming on. And again, we got to definitely bring you back on very soon. Soon, and keep doing what you're doing. You're such an inspiration, and keep trying to reach the youth. Keep trying. Don't give
That's
up.
all I can do. I always say it's a big difference from being in another country as far as those who try and those who don't. It's a big difference. So, if you just put the effort and just plant, that's what we do. We plant seeds. And all we can do is just plant the seeds, the positive seeds, and hope that they grow. Because I always tell young people, hear me now, but feel me later. Because I'm going to give you, that's what I call annihilator. I give them annihilators. Hear me now, because you're not where I need you to be to feel what I'm about to say. How important it is for you to listen to what I'm saying. It's going to hit you. So I plant seeds and hope that the soil is right. And if the soil is right and they accept it, it's going to grow. And all humans be then came to a point when they got older, now I get what she's saying. I get what mom was saying. I understand, because at that time you didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
You was in your feelings. You was too mad to even try to understand. But when you got older, I understand. So
Absolutely.
you don't want to, we all have to keep planting annihilator seeds and hope that they will grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. To our audience, we want you to reach out. All Jor-el's links are below. Reach out to him and find out how you can help him keep this movement going. He's reaching out to the youth. He needs all different kinds of assistance to get his movement off the ground. Whether you want to give a helping hand or donate to the movement, help him keep these kids off the street. Again, all his links are below, and we definitely want you to reach out, because we need more positive role models.
Male role models at that.
Male role models.
Too many women are taking the lead, and I mean, y'all doing a great job, but teamwork make a dream work.
We can't teach the men how to be men.
We really can't. You can give examples, but we need more men. We need more positive Black men in the community trying to plant these positive seeds.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Instead of in helping the woman, because the woman is y'all doing too much. It's just doing y'all, and it's by y'all have to, but y'all don't have to, because we need to step up. Absolutely. So any males want to get with, please inbox me. I'll work with anybody. Okay. I'm just about touching the youth and just focusing on better in the future.
Okay. And all his links are there. Please reach out. I mean, he's one person, but he can really help. Every person can make a change, and he came out, self-rehabilitated himself, and he's out here trying to save our youth. So make sure you reach out to Jor-el. And once again, thank you so much for coming on our show. We hope to have you back very shortly. And until next time, guys, we will